Alright, hi, thanks for coming to my channel. Today I'm making gummies, special gummies. I'm using a recipe by a creator called Natasha Has the Munchies. She's super popular on TikTok. She basically eats like 5 of these at a time, and then it goes and eats at restaurants. So now I'm going to talk about what I need. I'm going to post this full recipe in the description. The first thing you need is glucose syrup. I got all this stuff from Amazon. First thing is glucose syrup, food coloring, sunflower lecithin. This isn't in her original recipe, but I'm tweaking it a little bit. Sorbitol powder, citric acid, gelatin sheets. Someone might ask if you can substitute gelatin powder for this. I've never actually made gummies successfully with gelatin powder, so the sheets it is. Mold inhibitor, this is a preservative, coconut oil, a syringe thing, and molds. Last thing, the flavor you want, and I'm using green apple. This recipe is in grams, so we're gonna weigh out everything we need in our trusty pot on a scale. So we need 140 grams of sugar, 35, 138, 140 on the dot. Suck my dick. All right. 150 grams of glucose syrup. So now we got glucose syrup. This stuff is really sticky, and allegedly the best thing you need to do is actually clean up a little bit, wet your hands, wet them, and then you do it. So now we need 150 grams of glucose syrup. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. This may not be the best way to do this. So 150 grams. Stuff is so fucking sticky. Oh my god. 300. All right, cool. I mean, 150 grams, 300 grams of stuff all together. Okay, next we need 10 grams of sorbitol. Now, allegedly, you can just add more sugar if you don't have sorbitol, but I'm using this girl's recipe because she knows what the fuck she's doing, and I want these shits to be like candy store level, and this is one of the items you need for that. So we need 10 grams of that. Now for the gelatin part, we're gonna take this. You need the whole thing, which is 40 grams. And I'm gonna cut this up. Now, after I've dried my hands, I'm just gonna take this and cut it up. Wow, that is thicker than I thought. So let's separate it out. Dude, this stuff is hardcore. You just want to cut these sheets up really small. Allegedly, you can put these in a food processor and blitz them, but I don't have that. So, last sheet. God, that was such a pain in the... Okay. All right, now that we've cut that up, we're gonna leave that alone for a minute and get back to our sugar and glucose mixture. Forget something I did. I forgot 10 grams of citric acid. All right, where's my citric acid? This you need to be careful with. I just want my gummies to be a little bit sour. You can make your shit too sour with this. Like, if you buy it to use, I dare you to like just take a little lick, and then you'll understand like why you can't use that much of it. 10 grams of this. Okay, so now you're just gonna heat your sugar glucose mixture on medium low. Basically, you want all that to melt and for it to be really liquidy, not be grainy at all, basically. Make sure you keep it on low because you don't want it to get too hot and crystallize. Let that do its thing. It's melting really good. Next step is you want to put ice cold water over your gelatin, just enough to cover it. It's pretty good, and I'm gonna set that aside to bloom and get goopy. So this is what it needs to look like when we're ready to add our gelatin. This is what that kind of looks like after it's bloomed. It's really solid in there. All you need to do at this point is drain the excess water off. Got the water off, and now we're gonna add it to our sugar mixture. Get it all out of there. Keep and clean the measuring cup because you're gonna need it. So now, this is still on low heat. You just wanna melt your gelatin into your sugar mixture. So now you can see that it's all like melted, all the gelatin and everything else. So what you want to do at this point is turn off the heat and let it sit for 5 minutes. Now we're going to work on what I'm putting in here. This is 8 grams of honey. And in her original recipe, Natasha kind of just adds this to the mixture, but I'm a little bit too I'm using a lot more than she is, so I'm kind of squeamish about putting this much in there. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna take like a tablespoon or half a tablespoon or so of refined coconut oil, and I'm gonna put it in there. Probably like, yeah, that's like a tablespoon. I'm gonna put this in here, and then I have a nice little candle warmer thing that I use for things like this. So all I'm gonna do is put this on the candle warmer and let that melt everything we need. Once it melts, we're gonna add sunflower lecithin powder, and this basically makes sure that the gummies, the oil that I'm adding my honey to, will bind to everything else, because I add this to almost every gummy I make when I'm using an oil-based honey mixture, because I'm not trying to have a bad time and have one of my gummies be way stronger than the others. All right, next step is we're gonna be to see how all that, like all those bubbles, we don't want those on our shit. So we're just gonna essentially try to pull off that entire top layer. Next step is we're gonna take our mold inhibitor, and for the amount of gummies I'm making now, it's probably gonna be about half a teaspoon. 1/4. 2/4, okay? That our honey and our coconut oil has melted all nicely. Now we're gonna add the sunflower lecithin powder. Not that much. Again, we're probably talking about teaspoons rather than tablespoons. So I'm probably gonna do like half a tablespoon of this too. And then we just want to take that and mix it. They do have like liquid versions of this, so this won't be such a pain in the ass when you're trying to mix it up. But I got what I got, which is the powder version. Just mix that up really good. And we're gonna sit that back on the thing to melt. Now, we got our nice mixture, and we're gonna add our flavor, which is green apple, and our color, which is green and yellow. So first thing is the color. I don't know how many drops we're gonna add. We're gonna start with 3. Stir that up. Ooh, look at that. So cool. A little bit more, I think. Let's try 2 more. Maybe 3 more. Ah, 4, whatever. Who cares? That's pretty good and green. I'm gonna add like a couple drops of yellow too. Because fuck it, I don't know. I want it to be like, yeah, that's really cool. Now we're gonna add our flavor. I'm using this extra strength green apple Lorenz oil flavoring. I don't really know how much of this shit to add. So we're gonna start slow and I'm gonna taste it and we're gonna figure it out. So I'm not even gonna measure, we're gonna do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Stir that up. Let's taste it. Probably like 2 more Mississippis. 1 Mississippi 2, whatever. That was more like 1, but that's okay. I think that was probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Teaspoons, not tablespoons. Do not put tablespoons. This bottle is probably 4 tablespoons. Don't do that. Okay, so now we got our nice mixture, and just stir it, make sure it's all good. So now I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap. And we're gonna let that sit for 5 minutes again, because we want those bubbles to rise to the top, and then we're gonna take them off just like we did last time. Okay, same thing as last time. We're gonna get the bubbles off. Not as many bubbles this time. No, they're green. That's pretty good. I'll call that good. I don't want to like... Okay, now we have our honey and lecithin mixture. She's all homogeneous. And we're gonna add that. To that. Make sure we get all of it out. That's that good shit. We don't want to waste any of it. And now we're gonna stir it up. I'm gonna make sure that you're probably gonna end up doing a lot of stirring, because you want to make sure everything is all nice and blended and that the oil is not just sitting on top of it. Also, we'll take our nice little warmer and sit this on it, because the most important thing now is that it's much easier if you set it on something that'll keep it warm, because this shit is wanting to sit. It'll set if you sit here and leave it alone. So I have this on like 130 degrees, which is not enough to cook it, but enough to like keep it nice and warm. And keep stirring this. I'd probably say stir it for at least a good minute. But again, I want to make sure this shit is mixed up. This is serious business to me, buddy. All right, so I got my molds here. Got these also from Amazon. Now, these come with this little shit that you're supposed to use to like do that. This is a piece of shit. I hate these. I don't want to use these. Use these for medicine or whatever the fuck else. For this, get you a big ass fucking syringe. Yeah, boy. Fat boy. This is what you need. Why the fuck did it squeak like that? Okay, so now we can see everything is all stirred up. I don't see any oil sitting on the top. That's also what the lecithin does. So we're just gonna start putting them in the molds. I'm I'm gonna be quiet as fuck while I'm doing this because your girl's fucking concentrating. And we basically just fill them. So I'm gonna fill these and I'll be back when they're done. So one thing you also want to make sure is every time you go and get another batch from the cup, just mix it up. Just make sure we're staying mixed up. Ooh, almost done. And when you make gummies, the less gummies you make, the stronger your concentration is in the gummies that you have. The more, you know, cavities means that's how many times you got to divide your base amount of gardening material. So now I'm just gonna tap that to get, I hope I didn't overfill them, but I think they look good. And now these go in the refrigerator overnight. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's tomorrow and now it's time to demold. Are really good. I tested 2 of them last night. 10 out of 10. Great stuff. So now I'm just gonna demold these into a citric acid and sugar mixture. I think this is like 100 grams of sugar and 10 grams of citric acid. Basically, just, I think it's a 10-to-1, but be sure you taste it because this shit can get really sour, so don't ruin your shit. So now we're just gonna pop them out straight into the sugar and then strain the sugar off into a different bowl once we're done. Okay, so here's what we got. I unmolded all of them. I ended up with 274 gummies. They are 20 horsepower each, and I put about 7G of honey into these. So now these need to basically harden and be somewhere in a cool, dry place. I live in Colorado and the humidity is super low here, so I'm just gonna leave them out. You wanna make sure that you put them on parchment paper and try to make sure they aren't all piled up on each other. Some of mine are touching, I'll pry them apart later, but yeah, this is what they want to look like. They're amazing. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.